Many business users always wanted to have a small, discreet, yet operational and performant enough computer to perform their daily tasks. Most of them would turn to Lenovo for such business demands, but however, there are competitions. Dell and HP, like this one right there, is a point-of-sale computer. It's mostly designed for that anyways. So today we're going to be looking at a Dell Optiplex GX620, which meets those requirements. That's the small one. That's the smallest you can go. This is the ultra thin client, whatever you want to call it. I call it the giant book. Anyways. So anyways, let's have a look-see inside and go over some specifications, see the upgradability out of it, and unfortunately there is major issues with it. Dell Optiplex GX620 offers solid, robust, and reliability throughout every other computers for the office use. It is also very small, so therefore can be tucked away behind an LCD screen, or the LCD screen can be mounted on the top. You can also have the option to flip it up or keeping it down. There's no hard drive, so there's nothing to worry with there. So let's start with what we have in the front. In the front, we usually have a shipped 24x thin CD-ROM drive that I've upgraded to a DVD burner, a floppy drive, which seems to have the option of a card reader. However, the board inside does not have such headers. 2 USB, a microphone and headphone jack, the power button, and the Dell logo. At the back, normally we used to have a integrated video card, a Radeon X600 from ATI. However, I have removed that and kept the integrated video. There's also a serial port, parallel port, 6 USB 2.0s, 100 megabit Ethernet from Broadcom, line in, line out, and microphone jack. The power cable gets plugged in here, and it's not an auto-ranging power supply, so you have to set the voltage manually. In terms of security, you can either install a Kensington lock or a key lock right here. Doing so will prohibit people to get inside the system. Getting inside the system is not a big deal. All you have to do is hold your fingers right here, and the tab just goes off. Inside the system leaves us with a small amount of room to work with, and is mostly a heat corridor when it comes to here. So anyways, let's get going. Removing the devices is nothing too hard. All you have to do is, there is this little tab right here with a blue sticker. All you have to do is just pull and then remove the drives. Removing the floppy drive can be a little bit of a pain in the neck because for some reason it keeps sticking on one side. Careful note, these ribbons are very thin and can break at any time if handled roughly. Here's a look with a computer without the drives. This computer is prone to have heat issues because of the processor and the hard drive being right there. This is prone to have a major heat amount accumulated here. These are generally causing capacitor failure. This model is no exception. These two capacitors have been replaced, and these two have leaked. This one being the worst, this one being the least. They have leaked so hard that I unfortunately had to solder them from the back using these wires like so. But unfortunately, I'm not too sure if my wires did a bad job or something, but my capacitors in a matter of hours have bulged. This letter being one, and the other one that's hiding somewhere, and I'm going to pick it up, being two, like so. So I'm going to have to repair this. The system still works, but I'm going to have to repair it. So, in the feature-wise, we have a PCI Express 16 lane, PCI. Here's your CMOS battery, artifacts for serial ATA connectors that is not available in that system. This is where you plug in the CD, DVD, whatever burner drive you want. Space for up to 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM. It takes a 2 gig. I'm not too sure if it takes all complete 2 gigs or not. This is based on an Intel 945 chipset. Therefore, you can upgrade your original Pentium 4 or Pentium D maybe to an 800 MHz Core 2 Duo or Pentium Dual Core. Don't quote me on this. People say it works. Some people say it doesn't work. But if it does work, make sure your BIOS is at A11 for that specific system. There are artifacts. I'm shaking a little bit. There are artifacts here for power and reset switch. Maybe they're used for debugging or testing the system prior releasing. But that is so the case. They're there. It's interesting. I don't know. I don't really know if I need it. In the front, squeaker can. In here, right below, is a Pentium 4 2.8 with the heatsink, and the fan is in the front. This is the only fan that'll cool the entire system. The power supply has its own 4-pin CPU connector and the 24-pin ATX connector right here. So that's enough of the overview. Let's go see how it works. The bulge capacitors doesn't cause an issue. The computer still works as it is so far. Here's the computer standing up. Let's give it a whirl. The diagnostic codes are in the front, alongside as a network connectivity center. And there's the computer booting up, and it doesn't look like it's going to be doing a successful post. Yet again, what am I to expect? I got bulge capacitors. Okay, I'm going to tinker around and see if I can get something. Finally, after much tinkering around and disconnecting all the drives, wiggling the memory, smashing some caps, I finally got the stupid thing to go. So this one has the latest BIOS. I remember it. I flashed it. Processor info. Oh, I got a 3.2, not a 2.8. Huh, what do you know? I got 1 gig. It says 533, but is supposedly capable to run at 667. However, it does not seem to work. PC info, blah blah blah. It lost its state because I reset the CMOS value. Alright, so no. The diskette drive is set for internal. You can have it USB, read only, or off. The drives off or on. Serial ATA operation. You can have it normal, which is technically AHCI, and that's actually compatibility. Smart reporting, like errors are not reported, errors are reported. It's up to you. So you got the integrated network interface. You can have it on or off with PXE or RPL. It's up to you. Audio on or off, USB, same thing. You can have it on but refuse it to boot from the devices. The front USB ports, you can turn them on or off. PCI slots the same, LPT, you got the whole deal. Primary video, you can have the automatic, or you can set it on either use the first unless the PCI Express is detected. That's, you know, who cares about that? You can have it either use 8 megs of shared memory or 1 meg. I would recommend 8 megs because 1 meg just doesn't cut it. Performance, you can set hyper-threading, speed step. Wish I can have a camera anti-shake. Jeez, my hands are shaking. CPU ID and acoustic mode for the hard drive. Normally I set it on bypass, quiet, suggested performance. I wouldn't touch that. It's not really meant for there. A hard drive's not really meant to be played with the speed, power, or something like that. Post behavior, fast boot, numlock, or, you know, it's up to you. You can also halt it on keyboard errors or not. And the hotkeys, the setup and boot menu. You can have a setup, boot menu, or nothing. The numlock, anything you want. Maintenance, the service tag. You go on the internet. You type it on the internet on Dell's website, and you should get the prior specifications and release date. This one I'm not too sure what it is. I believe it is the some graphics card, blah 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 blah. I don't know. Load the faults, it's already done. And this is all the issues I had. Chassis intrusion, that's actually for something I forgot to mention. Right here is a chassis intrusion sensor. It's plugged in right here. And what it does is that it tells you that if someone opened up the computer or something, it'll say someone tinkered with your system, and you should check the inside to make sure everything's fine. Then battery failure, blah blah blah. That's me who just unplugged everything. And I'm going to go in there and clear everything. I have 2 pages, but what do you know? Power management. This is basically the way, auto power on. It's up to you if you want to have it turn on at a specific time. The low power mode, which basically technically saves more power, but it pretty much reduces the features and the performance. As mentioned here, it will be disabled for your network interface card if it is in the hibernate or the off state. And of course the keyboard's playing with me. Remote wake up if you want. I normally use it at off. Remote wake up is mostly used for tools like I believe LogMeIn does use that, and other technologies, but I wouldn't really mess with it too much. The admin password, if you don't want anybody to come and mess with your BIOS settings. The system password, drive01. The password, you can have a password for pretty much everything. Chassis intrusion, you can have it on silent or on, which will tell you that someone intruded. This is pretty much silent. In an office system, it would be the best that you turn on the feature to complete full on. Intrusion and alert, pretty much the same thing. TPM, execute disable bit. This is required if you want to run Windows 8 on this machine. You will need execute disable bit. However, why would you run Windows 8 is beyond me. Anyways, people like them, people don't like them. Unfortunately, I can't get it to boot, so I'm going to have to replace the capacitors first and get a hard drive going for it. And speaking of hard drive, here's the hard drive caddy. Let's take it to the brighter area. Alright, so this is the hard drive caddy with a broken clip. The way you mount the hard drive is simple. It is a toolless design. These 2 clips, you just pretty much hold and press and then lift the hard drive. However, you got to be careful. Don't go too hard or this is what's going to happen to your clips. Then your hard drive can be a little loose, but it's not the end of the world. Should you have a system like this that does not have this caddy, all you have to do is tinker with it a bit. If you have to do that, I would recommend a 2.5-inch laptop hard drive with serial ATA connections, of course. And I would plug it in and have the screws mounted on the back here. So like this, it'll diminish the space. Most likely will keep your connections in the back empty, and will also limit the amount of heat that is shot within this system. So anyways, that's pretty much it. This is the Optiplex GX620. This is the smallest form factor you can ever get on these series, and if you come across one, make sure the capacitors are fine, and if it isn't, see if you can solder them or not. But if you're planning to buy one for a business model, if you're planning to buy one for the business use, I would recommend to make sure that the system isn't fully operational, and if you can, get something a little bit bigger, because these devices normally tend to overheat on the specific area and they fail over time. So that's all being said. I shall see you next time on another computer overview, and I believe I will do these both have to be done, so those are speakers, spare speakers. So until next time, take care.